My name is Adriana Marino, and I am host and producer of Bend into Balance. Today, I am accompanied by Steven Dobson, a physical therapist, as well as a strength coach. Steven, thank you for being here. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us how you began this path into physical therapy, wellness, fitness?
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, Audrey. I appreciate it. Yeah, like you said, my name is Steven Dobson. I'm a doctor of physical therapy, as well as a strength coach here in Bend, Oregon. Been here for about 3 years now. Love Bend, obviously. Yeah, and I guess how I got into physical therapy, it's kind of an interesting story. I started out really actually when I was an undergrad. I actually started out in a different major entirely. Thought science was done for me. I'm never going back.
Uh huh.
And then I got really into lifting weights. So essentially, going to the gym 5, 6 days a week, just fell in love with the human body and how much it was capable of. I just really loved it. And then what happened was I ended up getting hurt.
Oh,
So classically,
uh huh.
I came in too hot. I did too much too soon, right?
Yes.
And I remember very vividly, I was getting in my dorm room one night, trying to get up to my bunk bed. Of course, I'm on the second story, second bunk. And
Yeah.
I was like reaching up with my left arm, grabbing to get up. And I was like, ooh, that's the pain.
Ay, ay,
Shoulder was
ay.
just
Uh huh.
really uncomfortable. And I'd felt it building for a while, right? I was just kind of ignoring it. I didn't know much about pain and injury at the time.
Uh
I was
huh.
just a kid trying to lift weights, having fun.
Yeah, you're in your 20s, right?
Exactly. I was like, I'm invincible,
Uh
right?
huh.
And then, of course, couldn't sleep on my left side. I was having a lot of pain doing like day to day things for a while. It's like, I really wonder how I could avoid this happening in the future. I like loved lifting weights so much. I didn't want to derail my goals. I didn't want to derail that. I just fallen in love with that sport itself. And I ended up going down the path of trying to learn how to optimize my own lifting, my own basically technique to avoid injury, my own programming, etc. And that really led me, long story short, down to physical therapy eventually.
Uh
I
huh.
cycled through some other things first, but found that, wow, okay, I figured out how I can do things a little more intelligently.
Yeah.
Why can't I try to bring this to other people and just show everyone how important being strong is and how just being smart and nuanced about your training can do for not just being in the gym, but all the things you do outside the gym,
Hmm.
like we do in Bend, like we mountain bike, hike, trail run, whatever it is, play pickleball, whatever sport you wanna play, you can probably play it around here, so
Yeah.
I just loved how that could transition and help everyone be stronger, more resilient to just play what they wanna play.
Yeah. So it was that own pain of yours that moved you into like, I want to investigate more about the human body and see how I can not only heal myself, but heal others.
Exactly, I just became obsessed with how cool the human body was after taking anatomy. And it was funny because I dropped anatomy in high school. I was like, "I don't wanna do this. This is
Uh-huh.
too intense, too hard."
Yeah.
And then I got into it in undergrad, and I just fell in love with it, and it really transitioned my entire career path, honestly.
What is it that, makes you so passionate about the body and just wanting to learn more about it and how it works?
Mm. I think it's just being so impressed with how adaptable and crazily, like, how capable our bodies are, honestly,
Hmm.
just amazes me all the time. And I think what always frustrated me was when someone would have a limitation put on them, or someone would be afraid to do something hard, or just have pain and then be fearful of something for a long time. And then I just get really, it just kind of pains me to see people go through that process because
Yeah.
I know how capable they are. It's just a
Uh-huh.
matter of doing the right things or having the
Yes.
right mindset or going through a process to actually do those things. And that part is what I'm really passionate about is just keeping people doing what they love to do and just showing them how capable they are.
Sure. How do you do this? How does your work
Yeah, yeah, good question.
unfold?
Yeah. Well, basically, the way my system operates is a little different than a normal physical therapy operation might be. Um, you're always going to be one on one with me, but it's also going to include a lot of the accountability and digital side of things. So coming into using an app and having access to me all the time and accountability, because let's be honest, when you're in your 1 to 2 hours of physical therapy a week, that's only a percent, maybe 2% of your entire week. And of course, you're sleeping, but
Hmm.
otherwise, it's the stuff that happens outside of that physical therapy session that I think is where the real magic happens. So my goal with my practice is just to expand out into that time and
Hmm.
help keep you on track. Because we've all probably been to physical therapy or been to some sort of rehab scenario, or your doctor told you to do this one thing, and you're like, "Oh, that sounds awesome. I'm gonna
Yeah.
do that." And then before you know it, you're like, "What was that again?"
Right, you forget it.
Or
Yeah.
like you get busy, right? And you just end up falling off the map on that, and then
Mhm.
the goal you had becomes kind of in the shadow again.
Yeah. So how does the coaching that you do outside that, 1 or 2 hours that you're seeing your clients each week, how does that show up for them? Through the app, through the coaching that you're mentioning?
Yeah, exactly. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna have a program built out for them specifically, probably from us meeting in person and kind of figuring out what current problem they're dealing with, of
Uh-huh.
course, and building a specific plan out there. And the app's gonna have their exercises, kind of like you might expect,
Yeah.
something specific to their rehab.
Mhm.
But then it might also be like, actually, I want you to work on getting enough water in today, or I want you to work on getting enough protein for your recovery, whatever sort of other habit that's important to their goals.
Sure.
And then on top of that, the way it might differ more so is that my main goal with any client that comes in to see me is how can I keep them as active and capable as possible while they deal with their injury,
Uh-huh.
with whatever pain point they have. So that might mean they're used to going to the gym or used to trail running X amount. How can I find a level of that that they can do at the same time? So they're
Sure.
not missing that thing that they really want to do because the rehab's not that exciting, right?
Right.
It's a little less fun than the other
Uh-huh.
stuff.
Yeah.
So it's more of building up sometimes an entire program for their exercise routine on top of their rehab,
Okay.
modifying their current routine so they can stay as active as possible and keep making progress despite pain,
Uh-huh.
instead of kind of focusing on the rehab and letting everything else go for a while
Yeah.
and then kind of going backwards almost.
Oh, that's great. So there's a chance for them to not only see you in person, but also maintain their normal, almost normal
Right.
physical routine outside of those sessions, just not to feel that they're missing out on what they're used to doing.
Exactly. And that might mean I'm collaborating with their coach or their trainer or
Uh-huh.
whoever else they work with, you
Sure.
know, even yogis or other people who just need to be active. And it's
Yeah.
like, can you just talk to your instructor and say, "Hey, this is the things that I really can't do right now. What else
Uh-huh.
can I do?" And they're smart. They
Yeah.
can modify and help you out. And
Sure.
they might already be doing that, to be honest.
Mhm.
It's just adding another layer to it, maybe.
Got it. And taking a step back, can you tell
Yeah.
us a little more, like, what is physical therapy? Why people tend to see you? What are typical, pains people are going through? Do I necessarily have to feel pain to see a physical therapist?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I was thinking about that earlier, actually.
Huh?
And I think physical therapy to me essentially means really helping someone overcome a pain point, overcome a fear of movement, or overcoming a limitation that's been put on them by somebody else or maybe the internet for all we know,
Mhm.
and then helping them just overcome that and do whatever they want to do. That's really what physical therapy means to me. And it doesn't mean you have to be in pain to do that.
Uh-huh.
It could be something you've been afraid to do or
Oh,
an old injury that you're like, I don't hurt anymore, but I don't really know if I'm ready for that.
got it.
Or,
Okay.
it could be like, I don't want to squat anymore with this much weight because I'm afraid it might hurt me again, or
Yeah.
go for a run farther than 3 miles because last time I did, my ankle really got angry at me, or something like that. So I think fear of movement or fear of being able to do the things you want to do is also a big part of that.
Uh-huh.
And we could consider things like mobility or just getting more flexible or being able to just do the other things you want to do.
Uh-huh.
That's I think that's more of what physical therapy means to me is coming back to those main points of just how can we keep the person in front of us doing what they really want to do and love to do and brings them joy through whatever they're dealing with right now.
Yeah.
And obviously that's my bubble of physical therapy, our
Uh-huh.
outpatient world where I'm not in the hospital in a traumatic scenario, right?
Right.
But there's so many different types of physical therapy out there.
Sure.
So I'm not speaking to those necessarily.
Yeah.
Those people are doing amazing work in their own ways.
Mhm.
In the outpatient world, like I am in, it's just that's kind of more what I'm after.
Yeah. So what kind of people will come to you? What kind of
Yeah, yeah, good question.
issues do they have?
Yeah, a lot of, I mean, kind of spanning the musculoskeletal system, you could say.
Mhm.
A lot of low back pain, shoulder pain, knee pain, probably the big 3. It might be oftentimes the people, though, that have been dealing with it for some time or, they've had back pain. They heard it like 8 years ago, but it flares up all the like every few months something comes up or shoulder pain that they just can't, play their sport anymore. Usually not as many traumatic injuries in my my space, a
Okay.
lot of long-standing pain that's just holding someone back.
Uh-huh.
And then, yeah, we're pretty much taking them and figuring out how we can do all those things we talked about already, sort of like
Sure.
building out a really solid routine to get them doing what they love to do.
Yeah. How do you distinguish, Stephen, pain, like physical pain from stress-related pain? Because, it's
That's
said
a
that
great
the
question.
body keeps the score. And
Yeah,
oftentimes when we get tense, we tighten certain muscle groups, whether that's our neck, back. I mean, typically the places that you're mentioning that you see a lot of clients with. So how do you distinguish what's really going on?
yeah, it's a great question, and I think this is where I love to see when, as a physical therapist or other physical therapists, start thinking about the whole person in
Uh-huh.
front of them and thinking about the holistic nature of pain,
Yeah.
because it is very different. It's difficult to decide, is this pain right now because I have a work deadline and I have 2 kids at home who keep me up all night, and
Uh-huh.
I have all these stressors in my life. So yeah, and sometimes we can't necessarily say with 100% confidence that it's 100% this, 100% that, right? We're mostly a blend of, "Oh, this is this old injury that I've had that is why is it popping up now? I don't
Yeah.
know." And then you start to take a little inventory of what's happening
Mhm.
in your life, and you're like, "Well, I'm training for a hard event. I'm doing something hard,
Mhm.
but I'm also sleeping less because of a certain thing. I'm more stressed. I'm not handling that super duper well, maybe." Or, even a relationship stress could be happening in your life.
Sure.
You're not doing other things you enjoy as much.
Poor sleep.
So exactly,
Yeah.
your nutrition kind of went out
The
the
window.
back door,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So all those things matter, and I like to think of it, and I didn't coin this
Uh-huh.
description, but basically like an overflowing cup, you might say, like
Mhm.
physical stuff goes in that cup, like
Uh-huh.
all your, previous injuries, all of the different things that can go along with the physical self, but also your stress, your nutrition, your sleep, your social connections. These things
Yeah.
all go in the cup, and when that cup overflows, you experience pain. And it might not be physical, might not be the main thing, but
Mhm.
it's still part of the bucket. And
Sure.
what we try to do is figure out which one of those levers can be pulled to bring it back under a normal level so you don't have as much pain and you can continue doing what you want to do. And sometimes it's not purely physical. I mean, I actually have clients that are purely virtual who we never put my hands on them ever, and
Really?
they make perfect
Uh-huh.
progress with just great communication and the right steps to getting better. And it might be, oh, actually, we're going to work on your stress management first because I could give you 5 exercises, but you're already doing so much. You don't need more. You actually need
Uh-huh.
less. Less is more in this case. So it's a very interesting question. And this is kind of why I love the nuance of pain,
Yeah.
which makes it complicated and confusing and frustrating
Uh-huh.
to like someone experiencing it,
Sure.
but it's fun from a detective side of what can we do to actually make you feel better, and it's not always what you expect.
Sure. So when you do kind of put that detective hat on you, really trying to get to know the story of your patient,
Mm.
what kind of questions are you asking them to understand like what they're really going through?
Yeah, I mean, if it's something that they've had a flare up or something is coming up more extreme for them lately, I might
Mhm.
ask questions like, "What's been going on in your life? Like, I want to know how you are as a human. Like, what's happening in your day to day? Are you how high is your stress level, 0 to 5? Like, are you at a 5 right now, and you kicked your training up at the same time
Yeah.
and it just overflowed? Or
Uh-huh.
how are you sleeping? How much sleep are you getting per night? What does your sleep hygiene look like? Are you
Yeah.
doom scrolling till 11 p.m. every
Mhm.
night and struggling to fall asleep and wondering what's happening?"
Mhm.
Um, Totally fair, by the way. Don't,
Yeah.
of
Mhm.
course, not judging you for that. But those types of questions are, how focused are you on your nutrition? How high are you rate that? Like, just kind of going through an inventory to some extent. And if you just ask a couple smart questions and let someone
Uh-huh.
talk, they usually give you hints toward what's going on in their life.
Yeah. This is interesting because these are a lot of the same questions I ask, as a health and
Mhm,
wellness coach,
mhm.
but I wasn't expecting a physical therapist to ask the same questions.
Yeah, yeah. I love that part of it. I think
Mhm.
it's underrated entirely. I think a lot of people are thinking about it. They just don't have time to implement it,
Yeah.
or they don't have time to have those conversations, which is
Sure. Uh-huh.
part of what I'm trying to accomplish with doing things differently.
Yeah.
Having those harder conversations, and I want to really know who I'm working with and develop a good relationship, and that's also really fun to me. I love that part about
Uh-huh.
being a physical therapist is you get to know your people usually.
Yeah.
Like you know them more than just my knee hurts. You get to
Mhm.
know who they are and who their
Sure.
shids are,
Yeah.
how their relationships are and stuff like that.
Has this holistic view that or I should say approach that you have,
Mm.
has this always been part of your practice, or is this something you've grown into or leaned into as it's evolved?
I think it's definitely something I've grown into more and more. And when I first came out of school and started my job, I was all gun ho and I want to fix all the biomechanical issues and
Yeah.
feel like I'm really important and special. My hands are so powerful.
Uh-huh.
And I think there's still some power there. It's still helpful. Human touch is still effective.
Yeah.
But I realize that, you can make a lot of impact thinking about the person in front of you and just who they are as a human and the soft skills of communication that are almost more important than the manual stuff. But
Mhm.
it's fun to learn. I did a bunch of manual therapy certifications. I've done all that stuff
Yeah.
and had fun doing it.
Uh-huh.
And then slowly realized that that wasn't necessarily the impact I wanted to make. It was different. It was just I wanted to do more of the whole holistic approach. Not that you can't have the manual. You can that can be included, but
Sure.
it's just a bigger picture.
Uh-huh. And do most of your clients know when they come to see you that you do take this holistic approach to healing,
I think
or are they
I
surprised?
try to put out that sort of, image of myself, I
Uh-huh.
guess, or when I'm posting on social media or having nuanced conversations on social media, I
Yeah.
try to make that come through. I think
Uh-huh.
people are sometimes surprised,
Yeah.
especially if they don't know who I am, that, "Why are you asking me about my nutrition and my
Yeah.
sleep and my stress?
Yeah.
Why can't you just think about my knee?" And I'm like,
Uh-huh.
we're gonna think about your knee, don't worry, like, that's
Mhm.
fine. We're gonna diagnose that and look at the ankle and the hip and the back
Mhm.
and make sure what we got going on there is under control. But if we don't think about the other things, I think
Yeah.
we're just missing the long-term progress we could make.
Okay.
We're missing the full, behavior change, lifestyle change that helps keep you healthy for the long term.
Yes.
It puts tools in your toolbox that you can use forever
Yeah.
versus here's these 3 best exercises for your knee.
Mhm. Got it. For a city like Bend, that we've got so many people out there, doing all types of active sports, what are your recommendations for those who tend to only get out on the weekends? Because obviously, work keeps us busy Monday to Friday, but we have what we call these weekend warriors who get
Mhm.
out on the trails, biking, skiing, snowboarding, swimming. What are your recommendations before getting out there
Yeah,
when you,
yeah. That's a great question, and that's totally something I mean, I ski on the weekends too, right? I
uh-huh.
come out
Yeah.
there on the weekday usually. So I think the main thing is having some sort of structured routine you're following, even if it's just brief and
Hmm.
short, like 30 minutes a couple times a week during your week,
Yeah.
or some other form of structured activity during your week that actually fits in your life
Uh-huh.
that helps prepare you for those things. I think that's the big thing. And then when a new season comes around,
Yeah.
don't expect to start at the highest level
Hmm.
immediately.
Right.
That's like program you might find in a sports team where you're going from season to season and they're usually ramping up before they're like full bore. And you could use track as an example because
Uh-huh.
they start and they're trying to peak by the end of the season, right?
Yeah.
So they have their best performances.
Yeah.
Think about it more like that.
Hmm.
I still want you to have fun with it, but I want you just to be prepared so you're not coming to see me because you flared up your knee pain
Sure.
the second weekend of the year, sorry.
Yeah. It's okay.
And you end up missing out on some of that fun because you just angered something from the past or got hurt doing
Sure.
something that your body wasn't capable of. And what I really mean by doing something structured during the week is some sort of strength training most
Hmm.
often. Aerobic is very important too, obviously, from a health perspective. But
Yeah.
as long as you're getting some stimulus of strength training during your week, you're going to be better prepared for whatever you're trying to throw at your body on the weekend.
Going to this idea of strength coaching that
Mhm.
you're that's part of your work. Can you tell us like what does strength coaching look like for you? How do you?
Yeah, yeah. A lot of the same principles we've talked about from the overhaul holistic approach
Hmm.
are also going to apply here as well. But it's usually more about figuring out what specific qualities do you need to do whatever you need to do.
Uh-huh.
Whether that's a certain sport, whether that's just I want to be healthy and have great bone health for the long term
Yeah.
because I realize how important strength training is for me, but I don't know where to go with it because I have had pain in the past and I'm a little worried about it or I've never done it before in my life. Like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
So it's kind of trying to figure out goal wise first from the person what's most
Uh-huh.
important to them and what they're comfortable with. I'm not going to make someone that doesn't want to do a certain movement do it, at
Hmm.
least not at first. I might try to coax them into it,
Yeah.
like squatting or even deadlifting, like hinging, just working all the muscle groups essentially in a way that's appropriate for the person at that given moment, and then building them up over time. And it doesn't mean, oh, I need to bodybuild and go to the gym 5 days a week to strength train. It means, can I do 2 days a week, 30 to 45 minutes, and get the main things in, and then go home and continue my life? But that stacks up over time.
Sure.
If I can keep you in the gym consistently, or even at home working out or wherever it is for, 3 months in a row, the even twice a week, like, you're gonna notice the change. You're gonna just feel better. Day-to-day tasks become easier. It's just it all stacks on itself, and you can imagine if everything feels easier, your body's just under less stress every time you do it,
Yeah, that makes
and
sense.
then it just allows you to be more resilient.
Mhm.
Um, I kinda got long-winded, but I hope that answers the question.
Good answer. Strength training has definitely,
Mm.
become more of a thing of as of late, especially for women too, in menopause and whatnot.
Absolutely.
Why is strength training so important?
Yeah, I think there's so many benefits to it, and it's also fairly accessible with some basic knowledge, I
Uh-huh.
think is helpful. But basically from a bone health standpoint and from we have a big problem as we age of losing muscle mass and losing bone density as we get older, and that's just becomes a problem when we as we get older and older, because if we fall and we break a hip, it changes our entire lives, right?
Yes, for
But the
sure.
stronger we are and the more muscle we build in our earlier years, our 20s, our 30s, our 40s, you can still gain muscle later in life. It's
Uh-huh.
totally possible. You can be 60 for the 70 for the first time lifting weights and 100% benefit. But the earlier you start, the more muscle you accumulate,
Mhm.
the more you stave off those negative changes of not doing that thing, the less likely you are to run into trouble from a frailty or
Sure.
just feeling weak and just basically feeling less capable as you get older.
Uh-huh. You've mentioned strength, you've mentioned cardio, you've mentioned balance.
Mhm.
We haven't talked about flexibility.
Yeah.
Are all of these just as important? Would you prioritize one over the other? Like, what function do each of them play? Cardio, balance, strength, and flexibility.
Yeah. And they're all important for sure. There's no denying that.
Mhm.
I think flexibility is one of those things that we need to have a good amount of it to do our day-to-day things, and if we don't have it, it needs to be more of a focus than if we have a decent amount.
Mhm.
I think good strength training and a good routine can actually improve your flexibility by itself. But if you really aren't flexible at all and you're,
Uh-huh.
I can't touch my toes or I can't squat down and do a position that's comfortable for it all, maybe I think it's important to start working on those things.
Uh-huh.
It might be part of a program, a warm up, a cool down, or just ideally implemented into your strength training.
Mhm.
But yeah, all those different physical qualities are certainly important. And I think the reason I bias towards strength is just because I think it's something most people aren't doing,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
because it's hard and it's
Mhm.
different and maybe a little scary, but it's just so critical from a life longevity perspective.
Yeah. Speaking of longevity, I've recently read that they say that muscle is like the organ
Mm,
that's
yeah,
one of the organs most important for longevity.
absolutely. I can think it's easy to tell if you're stronger, life is easier, just
Uh-huh.
announcement piece
Yeah.
physically.
Yeah.
um, Maybe for your confidence too. But
Yeah.
I think when you have that muscle, you do burn a little more calories at
Mhm.
rest. You do just have more ability to tackle what life throws at you. Even if you
Yeah.
get sick and you have to be in the hospital, and your body's gonna burn through your muscle, and if it doesn't have the muscle to burn through, it has nothing to go through. So
Right.
it just is a life-saving thing to have.
Yeah.
It's just hard to deny. I think that's the main thing about muscle that is so critical. And as we pass 30, our muscle declines by a certain percentage every year, and if we don't do anything about it, it just keeps going down. So we just have to do it.
Yeah. What is an easy way to do strength training at home? Maybe for those people who are kind of like, I don't want to go to a gym. I feel a little self-conscious, lifting weights. What are easy like weight bearing exercises that one can do to keep that muscle intact and growing?
Yeah, good
Or with
question.
a small, hand
Yeah,
weights?
so you have hand weights and you have
Mhm.
maybe some bands you can pick up for like $20
Uh-huh.
or something like that. And this is an interesting thing that COVID did to us was make us
Uh-huh.
creative at home
Yes.
because we didn't have the access to the gyms we used to have. And
Right.
I think that in a weird way helped the creativity of home workouts.
Uh-huh.
outside buying a whole home gym setup.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you can accomplish a lot, and I have clients now that I'm like, "Ah, I don't really feel comfortable going to the gym, but I really know I need to do this. What do
Yeah.
I do?"
Mhm.
And I'm still building out full body workout programs for them at home a few days a week
Oh,
because
that's great.
you have wall sits,
Uh-huh.
you have something in your house that weighs some weight. Probably you can
Sure.
sit down and up from a chair. You can do sit to stands. You can do leg extensions with a band. You can do so many exercises with the bands that it's kind of surprising. Of course, there's a cap on how hard you can try, but in
Uh-huh.
the beginning, it's so easy to do, from upper body workouts with dumbbells, even 5 to 10 pounds or
Yeah.
less, depending on your current
Sure.
status.
Uh-huh.
But if you have just a set of light dumbbells, a set of bands, loop bands, and bands you can attach over your door maybe to
Mhm.
pull down and do different things, like you can really make a well-structured routine with very minimal equipment and make progress for probably months before you're so strong that the bands kind of run out of steam and you're like, maybe I need to go to the gym. So,
Yeah.
or
Uh-huh.
maybe not. Maybe you're fine with that requisite level of strength and you're like, for now, this is okay for me and I'm just not quite ready for the gym yet.
Uh-huh.
I'm just glad you're doing something.
Yeah.
I'm happy that you're making progress at it.
Mhm. And when you recommend, when you design a strength training workout for someone, do you focus more on the reps or on the weights that they're lifting? Like, what's more important?
Yeah, I think if you're using lighter weights, you're usually going to end up with a little higher reps just because the weight
Sh
can't get hard
Yes.
fast enough
Uh-huh.
to do like a set of 5.
Mhm.
I think lower rep sets are really great for building strength. In the beginning, though, when you're just getting started, you're probably not going to do that because your injury risk is just a little higher than it
Sure.
needs to be. And when you figure out your technique and figure out how to lift more um, efficiently and safely, then you can load
Uh-huh.
up a little heavier.
Yeah.
I don't think that's always true, but usually it's going to be, 2 or 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps, maybe even like 8 to 20 reps
Uh-huh.
and pushing it to a level that's, an 8 out of 10 or a 6 to 8 out of 10 intensity, meaning a 10 meaning, oh, I couldn't possibly do another rep. Like this is so hard. Like I sat down and I can't get up.
Mhm.
That's like a 10 muscle failure, you might say.
Yeah.
And I think a 6 to 8 is like, oh, I could do 2 to 4 more repetitions without completely losing my technique or
Mhm.
not being able to get up again. And you can honestly make a ton of progress at a relatively moderate to low intensity for quite a long time before
Mhm.
you have to do something harder. And I always tell people to start
Uh-huh.
with the minimum viable program, I would say, which just
Okay.
means do the least you need to do to make progress right now so you have somewhere to go when it gets harder. 'Cause if
Okay.
you start at the max amount,
That makes
where do
sense.
you go now? You're
Sure.
like, "Oh, well, I could do 10 sets." Or
Uh-huh.
like, "I don't have all day.
Yeah.
How do I do that?" So start with the least you need to do to make progress right now, and then build your way up from there.
Mhm.
And from an injury resilience, injury protection standpoint, that's gonna also cover the base there, typically speaking.
Sure, that makes sense. Why did you just say until you have to go up? Like, why is it necessarily
Mm.
why couldn't one stay stable at a
Yeah, I guess it depends on how strong you wanna be
okay.
or how much you want to get stronger. I
Uh-huh.
think if you're fine maintaining at a certain level of strength,
Mhm.
great, and if you've met the level of strength you need for your day-to-day life, cool. I think most people might wanna just keep going a little bit.
Yeah,
Get a
that
little
makes sense.
stronger.
Yeah.
Progressive overload
Mhm.
is a common principle you might have heard of before. Just have to do something a little harder to keep getting better at it.
Sure.
Like if you run 2 miles forever, you're like your body adapts to 2 miles, and
Yeah.
you're just not burning as many calories at 2 miles anymore because your body's so used to it. You just have to do a little more to get the benefit you're after.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't mean it's not great that you run 2 miles, it just means, do you wanna go further? Do you want to push yourself to
Yeah.
be stronger, have better aerobic fitness, whatever that might be.
Mhm.
That make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it really depends on the individual, like how
I know this is
gung ho they are. But
the
I mean,
nuance is so
yeah,
fun
you're
about it.
making me think that I have to now swim more.
Well,
Because I usually I always go for like a minimal of what I want to
uh,
do, and depending on the time I have, like
yeah,
okay, I'll swim a little more. But one thing is true, I try to do like the pools much faster, like the laps. You know what I'm saying? Like just
exactly.
to see how I can up my performance. I mean, on an individual basis, I'm not even competing,
100%.
but just to see, yeah.
Right, right, and if it depends or it depends if you're like, "This is just I'm covering my base of being aerobically fit and I
Uh-huh.
enjoy it,"
Yeah.
then great. If
Yeah.
you're like, "How do I become a faster swimmer or more more optimal swimmer or
Mhm.
swim longer or whatever it is.
Right.
And then you start playing with the other principles.
Yeah.
You start being like, okay, I'm going to do intense intervals or something like that.
Right.
I'm going to do a different style of cardio.
Yeah.
Intervals obviously are going to burn you out faster, but that means your workouts may be more efficient because you're done in 20 minutes because you can't go any longer
Yeah.
versus
Exactly.
swimming for an hour or something like that.
Sure. Mhm.
Different types of cardio as well. Different
Sure. Yeah.
levels to the aerobic fitness.
Mhm. So what's your practice look like as a physical therapist, as a strength coach? Like, what's your minimal each day, each week? What are you looking for to stay fit, healthy?
Yeah, you mean from like what I personally do
Yeah.
or
Yeah, you
yeah,
wanna
well,
share with us?
yeah, personally, I mean, I love lifting weights. It's
Mhm.
always been my passion, like
Yeah.
from my origin of getting into physical therapy, right?
Yeah.
It's not 6 days a week anymore.
Uh-huh.
It's 3 to 4.
Okay.
And those sessions are now more focused toward being a little more athletic than they used to be.
Mhm.
I
Athletic, you said?
Yes, I did a lot
Mhm.
of bodybuilding and powerlifting for a long time, which just means I'm lifting heavy weights, 4 to 5 days a week and not really thinking about cutting and moving fast and jumping and being
Yeah.
explosive or powerful. Despite the name powerlifting, it's not really power. So I want to just be more well-rounded and
Mhm.
enjoy the other things Bend has to offer than
Yeah.
just being in the gym.
I get it.
So, 3 to 4 days a week where I'm including some sort of power training, which we haven't talked about at all yet, which I think is also underrated. And then more strength focused stuff still. And then a little bit of hypertrophy work, which just means building muscle, just focused around just stuff I enjoy too there.
uh
And then getting out, going to the track, running some sprints, running some intervals, doing some jumping, playing pickleball,
Mhm.
going mountain biking, just mixing those sort of fun activities to get more activity in just because
Yeah.
it's good for you, but also why not have fun while you do your cardio? When you live in a place like Bend, it's
For
hard.
sure.
You might as well.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to if you love the treadmill in the gym, awesome, but
Yeah.
to me, I'd rather be out there on the
With all the
trail
parts we
running
have.
and
Yeah.
mountain biking and just enjoying Bend and getting healthier. Like, that's the beauty of Bend, that's why we love it so much.
Yeah, for sure. So what were you just mentioning that we haven't got into
Oh,
the
power training, like,
uh
just, like, more explosive and dynamic type
what is that?
movements, so, like,
Tell us more.
jumping and
Okay.
basically jumping, sprinting, those types of
Mhm.
things. If we're trying to keep it simple, that's probably the easiest way to do it, or
Is
just
this what's related to VO2 max that everyone's talking that's
that's actually more just aerobic fitness in
okay.
general, and
Okay.
obviously still an important variable, and that's more of, like, your longer term cardio. Not entirely, but,
Yeah.
there's a lot of nuance in VO2 max, but I think generally power is more of the explosive dynamic things like pickleball is not that explosive, but you still have
Uh-huh.
to move quickly, laterally, or forward and decelerate,
Yeah.
do all these things that people don't normally do, actually.
Mhm.
That's why pickleball is the number one sport for orthopedic injuries in the world, probably, right? because
Is it really?
because everyone's just getting hurt because they're
Sure.
not used to doing any of that, and then
Uh-huh.
they play for 4 hours and they're like,
Okay.
"Why does my knee hurt?" Not blaming you, by the way,
Yeah.
just an observation.
Yeah.
So preparing yourself for those things by actually training to do them,
Okay.
doing some jumping, power kind of implies some intent to move fast
Got it.
or explosively.
Yeah.
So it might just be spotting faster with a lighter weight
Uh-huh.
or doing kettlebell swings or doing something that's a little more intentionally powerful.
Why is that important?
I think we lose our power as we get older. It's kind of like muscle.
Yeah,
I think you'll lose if you don't use it. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. Like the classic saying,
for
right?
sure.
And that is really true with power and something most people never do past a certain age because
Uh-huh.
don't think about it. It's not part of your day to day. It's like when you
Yeah.
jump to get up and oh, your kid's running into the street and you're like, oh, I got to jump and
Yeah.
you hurt your hamstring because you
Yeah.
you haven't ran in the last 20 years.
Uh-huh.
That's gonna be a classic example someone could relate to.
Uh-huh.
But if you're doing some of those things, even minimally on a weekly basis, just exposing your body to them a little bit. So it's not like, what did you just do to me after this
Yes.
long layoff of never sprinting once in
Mhm.
your life for the last 20 years. So just having that in the program or like I'll use it as example at home is someone just squats faster up from the chair. They intentionally try to go faster.
Yes.
It's
Mhm.
it can be that simple.
Mhm.
Or just even like hopping in place
I'm
or
thinking of burpees.
a burpee is not a bad example.
Uh-huh.
It's definitely more explosive, right? Having to
Yeah.
jump.
Yeah.
So anything like that, I think if we just included a little bit of that, even in our cool down or warm up of our routine,
Mhm.
I try to implement that with my clients, like in their warm up, even if they're 70, 80. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, when's the last time you jumped? And they're like,
Yeah.
good question. I don't know. And I'm like, no problem.
Uh-huh.
Are you okay with trying
Yeah.
something? And it might be just bouncing on their feet fast. It might be
Mhm.
just stepping up faster. It might be doing something just a little quicker. It's not, let's try this 20-inch box jump on the first day. That's not going
Yeah.
to work, right? So
Right.
it's finding the level someone can handle, but also just making sure that if they do stumble on the trail, they're not going to face plant every time. They're going to be able to stop quickly because they
Oh, for
have the
sure.
ability to do it.
Yeah.
And I think training that ability just helps your confidence too, and just feels good to be capable.
Mhm. No, for sure. It brings a lot of confidence. And when I'm thinking about this power moving like you're
Mhm.
talking about, it reminds me of kids at play. I was
Yes.
just thinking of
This
my
is a
kids
really
and
great
raising my kids, on a
comparison.
farm. We had a lot of land
Mm,
and
mm,
there's just so much movement per se, like you don't even have to
100%.
force it or think about it. It's just like
Yeah.
chasing a dog or, going after this or that. And just how we move, we lose that spontaneity
Mm.
as we grow older.
I love that, what you just said there about play. I
Uh-huh.
think that is something I really want more adults and older adults to just play. Have
Yeah.
fun with your training. Have
Yeah.
fun with exercising. It doesn't have
Mhm.
to be this terribly boring, monotonous 3 sets of 8 squats at the gym all the time. It can be more fun.
Yeah.
Or at least I think that squat strength's important, but why can't we also play a little bit?
Sure.
I remember a guy I programmed, he was having just doing martial arts a little bit or playing with
Uh-huh.
his kids, and he's like, "Whenever I have to, like, step back in this weird way, it starts to hurt."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna set a timer for 30 seconds. You're just gonna hop around in different ways. Like, you're just gonna
Uh-huh.
jump from that way. I don't care.
Yeah.
Just whatever comes to you, just jump
Mhm.
in this way. Like, I don't care." And that was entertaining and also silly and kind of
Mhm.
fun. And you're like, I haven't done that in a while.
Yeah.
And doesn't mean you have to do silly things like that, but just playing more and trying to find ways to make the strength training that sounds more boring, more interesting,
Mhm.
or even just applying it to what it's going to do to you outside the gym that
Mhm.
is fun. It's just a way I try to bring that in. And yeah, I think we're missing out on playing anymore. I've been a victim of that myself too. And I just like to think of it as if you don't enjoy it, you're probably not going to keep doing it for a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
So, how can we help you enjoy it so you actually don't dread going to the gym? You're like, I get to go to the gym today and I know I'm doing it because of this reason. And I'm also going to have a little fun.
Hmm. Yeah. I guess that's one of the virtue of sports like pickleball or soccer or
100%.
things that are kind of in communion with others where you can kind of just enjoy that.
Yeah, I think there's so many recreational leagues and adult leagues happening around here, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I just wish that people would strength train more so they got hurt less.
So
But
do you see that? You see a direct connection? You think the lack of strength training is causing a lot of the
yeah, yeah. I guess I should probably say strength conditioning, which
okay.
just means like doing the dynamic things and the strength training.
Uh-huh.
If you're just purely strong, like I was powerlifting and bodybuilding, like stronger than most people maybe, but
Yeah.
not physically capable of playing a sport, like
Mhm.
someone that plays their sport, right?
Yeah.
So I think they have to still do those dynamic power type things and do some of the things they're going to do in their sport in the gym occasionally to
Uh-huh.
just keep their body ready for that, especially in the off season when they you know, don't play for 6 months and then they go hard again.
Yeah.
If they're just exposing their bodies to that a little bit
Yeah.
during that time doesn't mean like every day or something, even
Sure.
like once or twice a week is fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if you prepare your body for the things you're throwing at it, you'll just have a lot less chance of injury. We can never perfectly prevent everything. It's just not the way humans are.
Yeah.
And we're gonna try hard things and we should, but stuff happens.
Mhm.
I guess that's this is a slightly different topic, but just reframing pain is not something to be afraid of
Uh-huh.
or constantly fear it
Yeah.
necessarily, but pain is really just a signal that our body is trying to tell us, hey, listen here, your knee is kind of achy right now. Maybe you're doing a little more than your body's currently prepared for,
Yeah.
or things like that. And it doesn't mean you've damaged your meniscus or like
Right.
now your knee is doomed and you can never do that again. It just means here's this signal. Let's listen to what it has to say. And sometimes we need to modify more than others. Just depends on the level of pain you're experiencing and what's happening.
Yeah.
That's another whole topic of reframing pain, but yeah,
Uh-huh.
an interesting one.
And in terms of reframing, which I love, I mean, how has your experience working with so many different clients, I imagine both young and old, professional, not so professional, I mean, in terms of
Yeah.
athletes and whatnot, what have been your biggest takeaways as a professional, as a physical therapist?
I mean, just in terms of working with these
Yeah,
different
like,
people.
how has it made you reflect on your own health and wellness?
Mm. Yeah, I think it shows how many options there are,
Uh-huh.
and that's what I really think about. I love that people can do so many different things and be healthy. Like, you don't have to do one thing, and from the really high level athletes to the person who just is first starting to do anything,
Yeah.
um, there are a lot of similarities between them. Like, they still need to do the basics really well. They still need to sleep and eat well and take care of their stress and these things. Like, in a lot of ways, they're similar. Of course, there's different demands they're trying to put on their body, which requires different things maybe, but
Mhm.
really it comes down to the same thing we kind of just talked about. How are they enjoying it?
Yeah.
How are they able to do what they love to do? And how can I educate them to feel confident and not sort of catastrophize every pain experience and
Uh-huh.
just be more mentally and physically resilient, I guess.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, since I've dealt with my own fair share of pain and injuries and um, seen so many people go through so many different pains and injuries that I'm just I get annoyed at first too when I get hurt, of course, like
Uh-huh.
everyone else. I'm
Yeah.
like, I gotta think about this a little harder now, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, I've done this many, many times, and I'm not gonna worry too hard about it. And
Mhm.
barring something traumatic, obviously, you get in a car accident, it's a different experience.
Right. Yeah.
But playing a sport and some pain pops up that's just annoying, right?
Yeah.
You can be annoyed and be frustrated, but then it's more of like, okay, what do I do to help make this feel better? How do I not have that stress response of being totally fearful and worried about it and just
Yeah.
start working on some things that I can do? And, like right now, I'm dealing with some bouts of back pain and some knee discomfort, and it doesn't bother me anymore mentally because I'm like, okay, I've come through that before and I've hit personal bests that I never would have thought were possible, even when someone may have told me that I shouldn't be able to do that again. So, and that proves to yourself how capable you are, I think, as well. When
Yes.
you overcome something, you're more capable the next time around, right?
For sure. It's the best
Um,
way
it's
to learn.
super, yeah, it's like learning by trial of the experience of the uncomfortable
Yeah.
part of it, which unfortunately we're probably all going to deal with. Right? We can't
Mhm.
avoid it. We're going to get hurt at some point. But coming out the other side and feeling more confident and capable and realizing it wasn't as bad as you thought,
Uh-huh.
and someone being on the other side of that telling you it's gonna be okay. That can honestly be enough sometimes. Um, it's just nice to have that, and then you just feel better going forward.
Yeah. I hear the theme of resilience coming through your words.
Yeah, I think, resilience, durability, these different types of terms just kind of meaning how much can you handle? What's your current capacity? Like, how much can you do and not feel pain or injury or not get overwhelmed from a mental standpoint by, I think it's both mental and physical, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's kind of a buzzword right now, to be
Uh-huh.
honest.
But
And
such an
I
important
think
one
it's
because
important for sure. It's like some
yeah.
things like buzzwords are, I wouldn't call it fad by any means, but
Uh-huh.
some of those things we do love because they are impactful, not just because they're fun for marketing purposes.
Yeah.
uh,
How do you work with a client who's lacking that resilience, but that really needs it in order
mm,
to move through the pain or the discomfort that they're going through, and thus, is seeing you?
yeah.
And when that mental piece is kind of missing, that that grit, that
Mm,
desire to get better, you know,
yeah.
how do you work with a client in that situation?
Yeah, so I guess I can kind of walk you through a little bit of a process if someone comes to me and they're dealing with pain first off.
Yeah.
The first step of the process is going to be how can we get this pain under control to build some resilience down the road or build resilience in areas they're not currently hurting while they're in pain. But then it's going to be the second step is always going to be how can we build your capacity and get you doing some harder things and then building resilience at the end, durability, if you will.
Mhm.
And that building resilience really comes down to building their ability to handle more work.
Yeah.
And that might mean exposing them to hard work so they can handle stuff they're doing out on the trails or on the court or whatever it is. So it might mean just adding more volume to their program in terms of doing those dynamic things, preparing their body for the things that they're going to experience in their sport. So it's not the first time they felt it in 6 months or
Yeah.
a couple months. So it's more about just exposing them to the hard things they're going to do.
Uh-huh.
But then also when they're trying to get back to that sport, progressively doing so, if you were say running 10 miles and then you had a flare up of some sort of pain,
Mhm.
ankle, knee, hip, whatever. And so you had, 2 months off where you couldn't hit that mileage without because the pain was so significant. If you try to go back to 10 miles immediately, it's probably gonna hurt again.
Yeah.
So it's more of a progressive process of, okay, let's start with do we need to run a walk first? Do we have to
Mhm.
find a balance? Maybe let's hit a little less uphill this time. Or let's go on a trail so your shins don't get beat up as much, or run on the grass, or
Yeah.
maybe you need a new pair of shoes.
Uh-huh.
What are these details we can do to help just start you small and build you back up to where you were before?
Yeah.
Obviously, as quickly as reasonable,
Mhm.
so you can get back to doing everything you want to do. But that's also a patient process.
Yeah.
And that's why you don't really build resilience in weeks and days. You build resilience in months and years. And that's why strength training and consistency over time is just, it's actually the most important variable to this process than some get strong in 6 weeks program or, change your life in 6 weeks. Like,
Yeah.
unfortunately, your body's just not going to adapt that fast. It's going to feel better maybe, but you're not
Mhm.
going to be at the requisite level of ability in that short of time frame to do everything.
Sure.
That's just why I promote how can you enjoy it
Uh-huh.
sustainably and just keep going
Yeah.
forever, ideally.
Yeah.
Lulls. You can go on vacations, it's fine.
Yeah.
But you have to at least stick to it for majority of weeks every year to really make lasting change and feel just more resilient.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
It
A little
does.
bit.
It does. Yeah. No, I'm just curious how you work
Mhm.
that piece because, you know, it's such an important mental factor
Totally.
that has to be kind of plugged into the
Yeah.
equation to
We gotta
get
I
better.
guess it is a little bit of graded exposure, meaning exposing you to the thing that was painful
Yeah.
in doses that is reasonable
Mhm.
and helps build your confidence that you can do it.
Yeah.
It might be taking something like a box jump or a certain amount of running or whatever it is and starting with a small dose and building your confidence in yourself mentally that you can
Mhm.
do it. Because if you're expecting pain, you're probably more likely to feel it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So if we can build your confidence and have you, run in a certain way or jump a certain height
Uh-huh.
first and then be like, okay, I did 12 inches. Next week I do 16.
Yeah.
Or like just we start building your confidence in that way. Or like an example of a client who, hurt their back deadlifting and it's not like they're gonna go back to that PR the first week they're out of pain.
What's PR? I'm sorry.
Personal records.
Okay, got it. Uh-huh.
So if they're used to deadlifting 350 pounds, they're not gonna go back the day after their pain feels okay and do it again.
Right.
It's a
Yeah.
common thing people might do and
Yeah.
ends up back in pain again.
Uh-huh.
But it might be, okay, do we start with a kettlebell? Do we start with obviously a lighter load? Do we lift you off the floor a little bit so you're not going quite as far?
Mhm.
Like, what are these ways we can get you back to doing it and building your confidence mentally as much as physically
Yeah,
so you're not, avoiding it for the rest of your life?
for sure.
That could apply to any activity.
No, nobody wants to live in fear.
No, and
Yeah.
I hate when people live in fear or live in their sort of limitations they put on themselves or other people have put on them. That's not necessary. Like,
Yeah.
that's actually one of my biggest things I'm passionate about that really bothers me is when I hear someone in the gym or someone out on the trail or doing something and they're like, I just don't do that anymore because it hurt.
Yeah.
Or I don't do that anymore because my doctor told me or someone told me or Reddit
Mhm.
told me
Yeah.
that I should probably never do that again.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why?
Yeah.
Have you tried? Have you done the work to maybe do it again?
Mhm.
And that's where we kind of start. And I don't want you to put limits on yourself.
No.
I want you to be so
There's
capable.
self-limiting beliefs.
100%. I want you to feel so capable and so inspired and strong and hopeful that
Hmm.
you can do whatever you want
Yeah.
within reason.
During my first fall of autumn
Mm.
here in Bend, I was up on Mrazek Trail. I don't know if I
Mhm.
pronounced it correctly.
Razak, yeah,
Yeah, thank you. Off of Shovelin.
yeah.
And it was a dusty part. It was
Mm,
flat and I fell.
mm,
And I didn't think anything of it. I just got back on my bike. I kind of slipped in the sand and
mhm,
whatnot. And then a couple weeks, like maybe 10 days later, I just kept on feeling that pain.
Mm.
And I'm like, this is weird. I'm not having a hard time sleeping. And I asked my cousin, who's a doctor, and he's like, well, maybe get it, an x-ray. And I broke ribs. I had
Gosh.
3 broken ribs. Like, oh my gosh. My colleague said, welcome to Bend. You're an official Bendite. You got broken ribs biking.
Yeah.
And so it took a while. I took some painkillers, and I know, I learned that with ribs, you can't do
No,
anything.
it's a hard
They
one.
heal by themselves. I'm like, how are they healing by themselves? And
Yeah.
I was more mindful of my movement, since I found out I
Mhm.
had broken ribs. But Stephen, the first thing I did as soon as I felt well again, I went on my bike and I went
Mm. Back to
biking.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I knew that if I stalled it
Mhm.
any longer, I would get that fear. I'm gonna,
Mhm.
and I knew I had to just overcome that initial fear and resistance to think, oh my gosh, I could do it again.
Yeah.
It was awful. The pain going to sleep was
Yeah,
really bad.
that sounds
Um,
tough. Yeah.
yeah, because it was on the side.
Oh,
Anyways,
yeah.
long story
It's a
short,
great story.
this idea of just like, not giving into that fear,
Mhm.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah,
Um,
it's just so important, and kudos to you for having the courage to be out there and get back on the bike immediately and prove to yourself that, "Hey, I can do this. This is fine." Because 'cause I'm sure you love biking, and
I do.
you wouldn't wanna
I
let
am
that
wary going
kinda
downhill though. I will be very,
well, that's still a
yeah,
human thing to do.
it's not necessary. I like rather endurance and go for longer bike rides. I am wary downhill, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wary of super intense downhill mountain biking too.
Yeah.
I'm out there to get my cardio and enjoy and have fun and not get hurt.
Yeah.
My wife would be pretty annoyed if I got hurt probably. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah, that's great though. I love that story.
Mhm. Thank you. Well, where can people here in Bend find you, Stephen? Where are you working? Can you tell us
Yeah,
a little bit the name of your business and
good point. Yeah.
yeah.
My business is called Dobson Strength Rehab and Performance. You can find me, my office is in Bend, and it's just a little bit up from the hockey pavilion and connected to a gym there.
Uh-huh.
You can find me easily at social media. Typically, that's where a lot of my content goes out. Basically, Steve.Dobson Strength. My website's just dobsonstrength.com. That's where you find a bunch more information about me and kind of the different things that I offer and a little bit more about what I'm passionate about.
Yeah. Great. And last question. Um, what do you think is the most underrated activity that we can do just to keep ourselves active and not necessarily needing to see you?
Yeah. Well, I do think any level of strength training is great. Like, I don't care if it's at home, I don't care where it is, just even a couple times a week.
Yeah.
Other than that, I do think walking and just getting your step count in on a daily basis is underrated for health long term. And just get your 7 to 8,000 steps for your longevity,
Hmm.
and you're gonna be at least starting yourself off on the right foot.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for being here, Stephen.
Yeah, of course. Thanks so
Thank
much,
you.
Audrey.
Bye.